Caden, and welcome back to the Super Sport Garage podcast.
And I'm Lee.
And for this episode, we are going to be covering the Donkervoort F22. And a little disclaimer beforehand: we don't know how to pronounce it properly, so you gotta be a little lenient with us there. But anyways,
so to begin, we're going to tell you a little bit about the Donkervoort company, because not very many people have heard of it. It was started in 1978, and it's a car manufacturer that's in the Netherlands. And according to their website, their mission is to change the lives of people who drive their cars with unmatched feedback, intimacy, full driver immersion, unheard of customer service, and hypercar technology at supercar prices. And the car is actually the brainchild of Joop Donkervoort. When he was 16, he was on his way home from school and he saw a Lotus 7. And he thought that was the coolest car he'd ever seen. And so he stopped and sketched it from every angle. And that's really what started him in supercars. And in 1978, he designed and built his first car. It was the Donkervoort S7 prototype. In 1980, the Donkervoort plant went into production with the SA, the Super 8. And in 2021, Jort finally retired and turned the business over to his son, Dennis. And the supercar that's currently under construction is the Donkervoort F22.
And the Donkervoort F22 is not named after the F22 fighter jet. It's named after Dennis's daughter. I can't remember what her name is, but it starts with an F, and then I think she was born in 22 or something like that. 2022. But I know that in the reveal video, he said my daughter that was born earlier this year. And this car's been around for a while. But
so before we get into the specs of the car, we want to talk about some of the pros and cons of the design. The design of the car is it has a really, really long nose and a very short cab, two-seater, that's really just sitting on the back tires. You like that?
No, I hate that car. It looks so ugly. They're good little elements that make it look modern and good. It's just a horrible design. Cosmetically, I would say.
What about it is horrible, do you think?
The fact that you have an engine, hood that's probably, I don't know,
10 feet long.
10 feet long. It's a long hood. And there's nothing in there. What are you going to do? Why is that even there? There's no reason to have it. And then the door is literally on top of the back wheels. And it's mid-engine. You would never expect a mid-engine to be in the back of that.
Well, especially a mid-engine in the front. It's not a mid-engine in the back.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the front.
It's like right here. It's your passenger.
It's right in front of it. But I actually like the long nose. And the car is mostly an engine with a small driving cab, and it reminds me of the vintage V12s back in the 30s and 40s. Mm-hmm. If you ever get a chance and you can find it, I would watch the Cary Grant movie Topper. It was starring Constance Bennett and Cary Grant. And in there they have a 1926 Buick Chrysler. And this car was made just for the movie. It's a one of a kind, and it's a beautiful car. But it has, again, the really, really long nose. And another example of the long-nosed car is the 1939 Lagonda V12 Tourer. And that one is even more pronounced with the long nose. In fact, the whole car together looks like a giant cucumber with wheels. And if you take a side view of it, you'll be able to see that there's a small trunk on the back and a really long nose. And that's what the Donkervoort reminds me of. But with the current Donkervoort, the engine isn't that big to justify that huge nose space. Mm-hmm. The old vintage cars, the V12s were really huge because they hadn't miniaturized things like they have today. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I like it, because I don't see a lot of long-nosed cars that are just mostly engine anymore.
So I'm kind of confused. Did you say that the engine is in front of you even though it's mid-engine?
It's a mid-front engine.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's mid-front, so it's right in front of you, just like in a regular car. And then you have the rest of the nose.
You're so far back that it's technically mid-engine.
Yeah, and it's that far back to give it stability. So where's your trunk? Well, it's in the front. You open the hood and you have your engine and you have your trunk space. Kind of like an old Volkswagen, except the engine was in the back.
So I was telling Lee earlier, I'm not a huge fan of the design. In fact, it's actually a really stupid design. If I were to buy one, I would buy it specifically off of engineering. Now that I'm more interested in the engineering side of things, I come to respect things a lot more through engineering than I do through design. But it's very, very good engineered. It just sucks at the design, in my opinion. I hate the look of it. But
well, and if you go back and take a look at some of the pictures we have of the first few models that he came out with, they were sportier designs, and they were much more typical of cars of an earlier period. This one looks like they're trying to make it look like a supercar, but they kind of skimped on the engine. Didn't you say it's like a...
It's a 2.5 liter Audi 5-cylinder.
Yeah.
Which, this could be completely wrong. I have no idea, but I think that's the same engine as what's in Audi TT.
Well, and if Donkervoort, if you're watching, we would love to come over there at your expense and drive one. I think that would be fun.
I'm sure that they're watching this.
I'm sure they are. Everybody watches it.
I know. By the way, thanks to all 16 of you that have subscribed, and also thanks for 300 views for all of our videos, and thanks for checking out for episode 6 too.
Yeah. But now we're going to get into the part that's really pretty exciting, and it's the specs and the performance.
So, I was also going to throw in about the design is if I were to design that car, the first thing I would change is I'd do a V12. Front end, because it's technically still mid-engine, but I would push the cab forward, have a trunk available, even if it was minuscule, but like the cab ends and then you have a cab and then it goes straight down to the back. So if you get rear-ended, the car is coming in the cab with you. But,
well, at least you get to know the people that rear-ended you.
Yeah. Well, you know their grill. You get to meet all the bugs.
That's true.
I think that a V12 like the 812 Superfast would look amazing. Would work amazing. And I know that they were trying to do weight was their option, was what they were going for. I would have much rather had a heavier car that can produce a little bit more power. That way you're not like dying when you hit the accelerator. But
well, and what they did with the V12 is they cut down on weight by a huge amount.
Yeah.
And it only weighs 1,600 pounds.
I think the exact what's it called? Conversion is 1,653 pounds.
Yep.
But this car also features hydraulic ride height, so it's like lowriders. You can pick what you want it to be at. So it can be really, really low or it can be tall.
Yep. But its top speed is 180 miles an hour.
And its 0 to 60 is in 2.5 seconds, with a 0 to 120 in 7.5 seconds.
Yep.
So this car delivers insane amount of lateral G's. So it delivers 2 G's of lateral acceleration. Just to put that into perspective, Bugatti Chiron, which is just as fast but weighs 3-ish times more, does 1.06 G's, and that is a lot of force. But
and that's why I like it, is it's a very lightweight car that still has the performance of some of the higher end supercars.
I'm getting a video idea in the future. What if we rented one of these things and we just got a bunch of friends and we literally just grabbed it by the wheel spokes and picked the car up? We probably could because it's light enough. That'd be awesome. But
Donkervoort, if you're watching, we would love to come to your factory and try that out too.
And my opinions can be changed.
Your
But-
opinions can be bought.
yes, they can. So this thing, the Donkervoort, well, the F22 also delivers 1.12 Gs of braking power, and it does 2.15 Gs of cornering. That's a lot of force. You thought that too? I thought 1 G was a lot of force, but
Yeah.
I think I read online that when you hit the brakes, like slam on them, you get half a G.
Mm-hmm.
And you have 2 of them pulling on you. You're not getting shoved forward.
Yep.
So we touched on this earlier. It's a mid-engine, 5-cylinder turbocharged engine. It's the Audi 2.5 liter engine. This engine pushes out 500 horsepower and 472 pound-feet of torque.
And it's a 2-seater, and the roof is removable, so you can have your convertible too.
It's a twin Targa roof. I don't know what that is, but
I don't either, but it sounds cool.
yeah. So this car is rear-wheel drive, and it has butterfly doors, which actually look amazing.
Yeah.
But like I said, if there was a tail on it and the nose was a little bit shorter, then I would actually like the car.
And the chassis is made of tubular steel, X-Core carbon, which I believe is something that Donkervoort has come up with.
Mm-hmm. It's a production company, I think, like material production, and it's apparently separated from Donkervoort, and now they sell parts for other manufacturers and stuff.
Yeah. Steering is rack and pinion steering, and they have adjustable traction control, and it's really cool. You just select that with a dial. They have optional race ABS that you can have installed, and price isn't too bad if you got a lot of money. It's only $260,000.
I would never pay that,
Well, and that excludes taxes and shipping.
that is true.
But if you want one, they've extended production by 75 more cars. It's actually very popular over in Europe, and they just barely opened up Donkervoort to the United States.
It's also available in Dubai, the UAE. I think it's funny. They're very popular, but they extended from 50 to 75.
Yeah.
But like,
Well, they extended by 75, so now they're
No.
125.
no, they went from 50 to 75. I don't think they
So they
extended
added
by
25.
Yeah, they added
Wow.
25 is what I heard. So it's extremely popular. And once again, I'm just talking trash just because that's the way I am. But
He's talking trash because I think it's a cool car and I'd love to have one. But we
you
won't
also
have-
want a Rolls-Royce pickup truck, which is the ugliest thing
That is
ever.
cool.
For those of you watching, I'll put up a photo of it right here, just so that Lee can be happy. But one thing I am impressed with is the 33 miles per gallon, though.
Yeah, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure if I was driving it, it wouldn't get that high of gas mileage.
My truck's supposed to get like 15. I get 10 the way I drive it. But
I mean, we don't drive them the way they're supposed to be driven.
no. We drive them like enthusiasts, foot to the floor.
Okay, if you have a gas pedal, aren't you meant to use the gas pedal?
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you're only touching the gas pedal, then you're just peppering.
Yeah.
You need to use the engine to its full capacity.
When I was little, this is backing up a little bit. This is back in 1973 when I got my driver's license. We had this old Ford station wagon, and if you've ever seen a station wagon, they're just huge, and they weigh a ton. And
They're boats.
yeah, they're ocean liners. And my dad and I went out on country road, and he just, I was driving. He goes, "Okay, Lee, we need to clean the carbon out of the engine." And I'm going, "That's a thing?" And so he goes, "So nobody on the road, go as fast as you can."
How old were you at this time?
16,
Oh, okay.
which for me was great because I love speed. And then when we got home, my dad got in trouble because we were getting carbon out of an engine. I don't know if it worked or not, but it was sure a lot of fun.
That's awesome. How did your mom find out?
He probably told her, or maybe I did. We got station wagon up to 120.
Oh, wow.
Why did you let him drive that fast? Because he was having... No, we were going... Because he was having fun? No. because we were getting rid of the carbon in the engine. So if that's really a thing, I would be interested in knowing. Just put it in the comments or something.
If you're an engineer, or
yeah,
I don't know, but
and if it's still a thing, I need to know so that I can still drive my cars fast and
that's what I'm doing.
blow the carbon out. I have no carbon in my engine.
So one cool thing about this car is it's a manual. It's a 5-speed manual gearbox, and it also has rev matching. This makes the engine match the same speed as the wheels when shifting, and the Nissan Z also has, the new Nissan Z also has this, and it makes you look better when you're shifting, which would be very nice for someone who's learning how to drive manual. For the record, I'm not.
I can tell you with manual transmission, you look cool no matter how you're driving, unless you're just jumping like this because you're just learning.
Or you stall it, then you have issues. Everybody makes fun of you. But it also has flat shift technology, which reduces the time when the wheels aren't driving. So when you shift, the car will just kind of coast and then it'll move. But it reduces that amount of time that it's just coasting.
Does it allow speed shifting? Then you don't have to worry about coasting.
I don't know. But it's a manual gearbox, so it's going to be slower than automatic. That's one thing I've been torn with, is I want high horsepower cars, like with 2,000 plus horsepower. I don't know if I want to do manual because I'm so much slower and I want these cars to be drag strip cars.
But with experience, that takes care of itself. So the more experience you have driving a manual car, the easier it comes to you, so that you're not thinking about, okay, I need to be at 15 miles per hour to shift to second. And I'm going off of an old Mitsubishi Lancer that I had, and it had specific places where you were supposed to shift. But once you got used to that, you could tell by the engine noise and what you wanted it to do. I mean, if I wanted to take off real fast, it would be in first gear up to 30 miles an hour, then second gear up to 60, and that thing would fly.
So one of the cars I've looked at is a twin turbo Dodge Viper. I think that Viper ACR would be the ultimate drag car, and I want to do like a 2600 wheel horsepower build. But I saw this guy named 458 Destroyer. His is a manual, and you literally just pull, just because you can't shift fast enough. So you just pull the gearbox and it does it for you. But it's still a manual.
My son was driving one of my manual cars. I don't know if it was the Lancer or if it was an earlier one, but he got to the point where he could speed shift, meaning that he never used the clutch. He just listened for the engine and then shifted. And it was my car, so what did he care?
I didn't even know that you could do that. I had no idea that you could shift without using the clutch.
Yeah.
But
it's probably not good for the car. But
probably not. But
he was using my car, so it was okay with him.
So, like we said earlier, the car is available in the European market, the UAE, and the USA. But that's all I got.
That's all I got. And again, shout out to Donkervoort for hopefully listening to us.
Yeah, and hopefully bringing us to Netherlands. I'll get my passport ready.
Mine's ready to go.
I don't have one. But, anyways, thanks to all of you for watching and subscribing. Make sure to share this with your friends, and we will see you next time.
See you later.